Hey everyone, it's Jen with ChappyPlans. Thanks for joining me for Try It Tuesday series Week in the Life 2025, where I will be working on Wednesday. And I'm going to just fast forward the camera and continue doing my voiceover. So let's jump right in. Hey friends, it's Jen with ChappyPlans. Welcome to Wednesday in my Week in the Life, my first ever time participating. If you haven't seen the other two videos, I have those linked in the Try It Tuesday playlist that you can get to at the very end of this video by clicking on the screen, or you can search on my channel the Try It Tuesday playlist and you'll be able to find it in my recent videos. So if you saw the last one, I talked a lot about how long it took me to edit the video. This time I made sure I had all of the journaling typed out, ready to go with the photos. You can see it's already there on sticker paper, and that made this process much smoother, much easier, and I'm hoping as I'm doing this voiceover that it goes a lot quicker as well. So it did take me about an hour to do all of the typing for each section, and I'm going to read for you the journaling, and rather than what I typically do in a process video where I narrate what I'm doing, I am going to read the journaling because that's going to take quite a while, and hopefully you guys are watching the process, and if you have questions about anything that I'm doing, definitely feel free to leave those questions in the comments, or you can always DM me over on Instagram at the same handle. So for Wednesday, I wrote, "Hello, Wednesday. Nora is 9, going on 19. Every morning we have to remind her to make sure she has the necessities taken care of first, vitamins, pack a snack, feed the cats, etc., and then do makeup. She's combined the eating breakfast part with the makeup part. She sits at her vanity and either listens to music or watches YouTube while she does her makeup. She has more makeup, body spray, skincare products, etc. than I do or ever did, and I'm pretty sure she has more knowledge about most of it than I do. It's an ongoing struggle to remind her how naturally gorgeous she is, that makeup is just a fun accessory, that she doesn't need to wear it. She says she understands, but I fear social media and society has been teaching her otherwise. She doesn't wear her, quote, whole face, just the few things we allow, a little blush, mascara, and lip gloss. Funny, we started the year off saying she could only wear lip gloss. Now it's June and she's wearing all that plus the stupid fake nails, and I don't have enough time to rant about that situation. Slow down, Nora. Adulting is not all it's cut out to be." And then I just embellished it really simply, and on the right I have that plastic quote that will go there in that column, and a photo of Nora and myself in our bathroom before school. So I wrote, "I get ready pretty fast. I'm not as high maintenance as others perceive. It takes me about 5 to 7 minutes to curl my hair, 5 minutes to do my makeup, and 5 minutes to get dressed if I have my outfit picked out already." This morning, Nora decided she needed mommy snuggles while I was trying to get ready and latched herself onto my back. She is still quite attached to me. Our bond is extremely strong, both literally and emotionally. When I am sitting in my craft room, she will do what she calls koala and climb up behind me, squeeze herself into the tiny space behind my back in the chair, and wrap herself around me like a baby koala. We're both growing, me out, Nora up, and it's getting harder to fit, so it makes sense that she now has to do koala standing. Size. She is nearly as tall as I am, and while I dread the days she towers over me, I hate the thought of her growing out of needing to koala so much more. That's it for these 2 pages. And you can see I'm using some of these vellum words from my stash by Ellie Edwards, and then chipboard. I realized while I was stamping AM on the square die cut that my A is kind of messed up, so I'll probably message the team at Ellie Edwards. Their customer service is amazing, and just let them know that my A is defective. Sorry, I'm very distracted because my kitten is meowing at me and wants me to come pick him up. Okay, so on the next I'm also realizing that I forgot to peel the film off of the tops of these plastic pieces. All right, so moving on, I have a larger photo of the classroom I'm working in till the remainder of the year is over, and that I'm in pretty much on a regular basis throughout the year. So I wrote, "I love my job. I cannot believe I felt the most myself working in and with the special education population. I remember subbing during grad school and having my favorite rooms be self-contained special education. At that point, I was nearly finished with my degree and had already spent 6 years in college, so there was no way I was going to shift at that point. About 5 years after that, I worked in adult rehabilitation as a coordinator and wrote ISPs, or got to be, quote, in the field as a life coach. I loved that job. Another 10 years later, and I began subbing again when Nora was in 3rd grade at her school. Over the last couple of years, I have been a regular sub, spending 90% of my time in one of the 3 self-contained classrooms. This week I have been doubly blessed because I was able to be with my work hubby since the head teacher, our friend Bree, had her baby. We have the most fun together. We are insanely ridiculous, cracking jokes, being over the top silly, and doing whatever it takes to make our day more fun and happy. These environments can be difficult to work in and day out, but when you have a work bestie, it makes all the difference. I'm so grateful to have Dom in my life and to get to do what we love together. Today, I talked with Dr. F and convinced him to let me be in that room until the end of the year. I pray that next year brings more of the same. For now, I'm appreciating each precious day we have. And then I just stamped, I pulled out some of my old stamp sets and I stamped Special Bond, Joyful, and Love This Connection onto some white sticker paper, trimmed it down and put on top of the photo. And then on the other half of that square die cut, I wrote Dom and I equals fun. Any day working together is a good day. And I used the working sticker on top of that. Then for the ING words, I have just these 1 1/4 inch square photos. I have loving all the snuggles I get with Nora. She is such a love. Even after a full day at work being touched, I crave it. Listening to my buddy Superhero Steve, finding all the letter W's on our ELA worksheet. We make it a game. Working for the rest of the year in the K12, unless Dr. F pulls me. Sweet Micah is always so smiley with me. Cleaning my yogurt bowl after breakfast. He's always so hungry and will eat almost anything, and that's toothless there. Dreaming of a stuffy free nose and congestion. Poor Nora hasn't felt 100% like her usual self. Watching my YouTube content and editing all the things. I have so much content I feel behind on. Eating. Matt's concoction that has Korean chicken over rice with snap peas. It's delicious and filling. Reading to Nora at the end of the day. We've been reading Are You There, God? It's me, Margaret. And I also have a little note that says Zazu's bookmark, because that is, if you follow Natasha in your phone on Instagram, she is an avid pet lover, and she has a pet birdie, Zazu, and she was selling these bookmarks. I purchased one from her, so we've been using that bookmark. I just wanted to point that out because it's super cute. Worrying that Nora will come down with another virus, and she's been coughing a lot. She uses her nebulizer. And playing Toothless was cracking us up. He kept dive bombing the empty tissue box trying to fit in. Of course, this was at bedtime. That was hilarious, by the way, because he literally, by the end of him trying to dive into the tissue box over and over, he had destroyed the box, and it was like, in shambles all through the hallway. But he kept like dive bombing it, trying to fit in it, like attacking it, chewing the cardboard, just being totally crazy. And, I had to put that it was at bedtime because, we're trying to like get Nora to settle down, quiet down. And meanwhile, we have him being a psycho. So, cats doing what cats do. As usual, I do my journaling off camera just because otherwise it's boring and takes forever. You can see I trimmed down that green paper for this day to fit some of those rows that I don't need to document. And then we have the Wednesday by the numbers. So I've got the weather, the New York Times front page, a picture of me doing my workout, my Apple Watch rings, what I'm reading, how my desk looks, and my shoe mat. And all those photos are the same. I'm taking pictures of the same thing each day, so there's some sort of like consistency on this particular page. So I stamped on clear sticker paper, "These days life is measured by," and I wrote the countless tissues I've gone through and the number of times I use the Navage. These days life is measured by grams of protein, trying to consume as much of it as possible throughout the day. And then I have a picture of Smokey and Toothless on the couch, and Smokey's eyes are kind of open, but he looks really pissed, so it's kind of funny. And it's accurate. And then another picture of them curled up together on Nora's bed later on that day that I just kept really simple and embellished, kind of in the same way that I've done in other days. So on the little half card there, it says, "These two are so funny. Smokey tolerates snuggles from Toothless only when he's really tired or is already asleep and just allows it. Sometimes they play fight, and others they actually bathe each other. I love them so much." So that's just a little tiny story about the two of them and their sort of, I guess, Jekyll and Hyde relationship, if you will. And then flipping the page, we come to the die cut scalloped insert, which I love so much, that says 1, 2, 3, where I add journaling for each of my family members. And so I've been trying to get a picture of each of us individually to do a little bit of separate journaling there. So I have myself, then Nora, then Matt, and that's kind of the formula I've used throughout the other 2 days. So I wrote, nothing like a work bathroom selfie. I didn't have enough time this morning, too busy getting koala'd. I snapped this one while I was waiting for Micah to use the bathroom during music class. Loving these light, airy drawstring pants for the hotter weather. Also, is it just me, or are my biceps and triceps getting huge? Because I wore a tank top, and I'm usually pretty self-conscious about my arms because they are really thick, I guess you could say. So I have quite a bit of upper body strength, and so in this photo I'm like, oh dang, like my arms look crazy. Number 2, I said, I didn't get a great picture of your outfit today because you wanted me to snag this one while you were holding Toothy. You love your little Lululemon jacket. It's so airy and sporty and perfect for this time of year. You're my little sporty spice. I think you're just the coolest kid ever. And then for number 3, I said, your eyes are halfway closed in this photo. It was the best one I had, too. You were notorious for having your eyes closed or half closed in photos. We joked about it a ton when we first started dating. And yet, you allow me to take your picture so I can document this week the way I want to. It's a little thing, but you are always supportive of my scrappy projects, and that makes me love you even more. And then on the right of that picture, I have the larger photo of me editing some videos, and I wrote a bunch of random stories from today. Last night was rough, lots of waking up coughing. I think the allergy cold has migrated from my head to my chest, which means it'll hopefully be on its way out soon. I'm still doing the Navage multiple times a day and credit it for helping me get better faster than usual. I also do the nebulizer in the evening once or twice. Nora woke up complaining about a stomachache and sore throat. I think it's a possible celiac flare-up and allergies, not enough to warrant a stay-home day. One of my students, A, hates my Owala to the point where he throws it violently hard at the cement floor, and now it has several huge dents in it. Matt has dubbed this one my work water bottle. After work, I reluctantly did my bar workout and hated it. I forced myself to do this first before I can enjoy my craft space. I finished editing and uploading content I filmed yesterday while simultaneously finishing listening to my audiobook. I also caught up on my daily journaling and week in the life notes, and then Nora needed all the things to help her allergies. Throat and nose spray, nebulizer, cough drops, and the humidifier on before she could go to sleep. It was a full day for sure. And then in the bits of life pocket, I will add that later, but I did go back, and you'll see at the end, I tried to peel off the vellum but it left a mark on the photo, so I just trimmed it down so it was hidden behind the die cut that pulls out with journaling on it, and you can't, I mean, it's fine. You can't really see it when the die cut is tucked into the pocket there, and it just has some bullet points. It says, currently, my student A has a vendetta against my Owala. Avoiding outside for gym and recess like the plague. Allergies suck. Insanity on the bus at dismissal. Nora reported girl drama at recess. And Nora and I used our nebulizers. And then on the back, I wrote 65 photos taken today. I should have taken more. A threw my Owala 3 times. 3 nebulizer treatments today also. So it's kind of like a way of me documenting numbers in a different way. And then I just put a chipboard piece, and then I stamped the little scallop across the middle there. That brings us to the last 2 pages, and then I'm going to go back and finish the first page. So I am going to create all my little circle photos in this fun little grid layout, idea stolen from Linda Loves Creating. And I have my coffee cup, I've got my medication for the morning, I have a part of the packaging that came in my affiliate pack from According to Allie. Shout out to Allie's shop, and if you want to support me there, you can use Gen 10. Thank you in advance for that. I've got a picture of some of the shapes that we were playing with at school. I have the kitties snuggling again, the label from my Starbucks cup, the new body jump rope and sliders that I ordered came, so I took a picture of those. The labeling from the fruit bars that I've been eating, and a picture of all of Nora's stuffies in this little like bin she has in her room. So all those things I wanted to include just as miniature zoomed in pieces of life throughout the day. And on the details circle, as usual, I'm going to cover up that number with some of the green pattern paper, stamp a W for Wednesday. And then I wrote, today's work day was good. We're all celebrating Romeo tomorrow. He was obviously one of my students. Nora and I got him toys after school, nearly missing her teletherapy. Busy full day. I stamped basics on that plastic half circle with the medication on it. I put the feeling sticker on the picture of the cat snuggling. I stapled the number 4 for the day, June 4th, on the green pattern paper that I punched out with my 2-inch circle punch. And then I also used a little chipboard heart to add to the front of the 2 semicircles, the one that says moments, and then the solid green. Using my tiny attacher to attach all of these, and then I also tried to make a circle out of a chipboard piece that said, currently so in love with all this stuff. And then on the right, I've got a bunch of photos from the evening, which is how I like to end the day, with evening photos. So I put the reading and watching on the 2 photos on the top. And then on the bottom, I stamped Wednesday moments, put a little chipboard heart. Nora took a picture of Matt and I were snuggling on the couch. And I wrote, I'm proud of Nora for sticking up. This journaling, by the way, has nothing to do with these photos. I just wanted to add a little bit more journaling here. So I said, I'm proud of her for sticking up to, and I'm not going to say the girl's name, at recess. She did tell me it was unnecessary drama while they played cheer. I think this is something Nora started last year at recess. Poor Nora needed all the things because of her allergies. I'm hoping it doesn't turn into a cold. Matt snuggles are my favorite. And then I've been using the little day of the week chipboard to act as the pull tab, which I think is kind of fun, and I've been adhering that just with my tiny attacher. And then the picture of Matt watching his phone, he's watching baseball at the same time that we're watching Andor, so he can like watch the Tigers as well as check into, or I should say he's checking into the game while we're watching Andor. And then that's me laying on the couch reading to Nora. She's got her cup of tea, and I'm reading to her. So that is going to sum up those pages, and then I'm going to go back to the beginning of the day and fill out the timeline, which is always interesting because, of course, a lot of these stories get repeated, but there are still some photos that I didn't include in these other pages that go on this one. I actually had a lot of fun putting the circle pages together because it feels kind of like a puzzle. I'm trying to balance, you know, where I put the plastic pieces and the colors in the photos. And yeah, it's just really fun to put together. And then I like to go into my stash and see what embellishments I have that I can, you know, pull out to use in not just this page, but in other pages as well. And, you know, I'm a color girly, so it's easy for me to kind of look through my items by color and see what I have that I might be able to use. Also, I do want to mention that I'm going to go back after this, after I get these photos adhered and the page finished and decorated. I am going to go back and fix that photo, that larger photo of me editing in my craft room. I had mentioned it earlier before with the where I tried to take the vellum that says like off of it. You'll see in just a second here. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but so yeah, each day is kind of got a little formula, and now that it's the 3rd day of me doing this project, I feel much more, I guess, comfortable and confident, I suppose, a little bit more confident than I have. Yeah, I guess that's the right word, than I did before, because it just felt very foreign to me when I first started doing this project. But by day 3, I think I'm kind of getting the hang of it. So here we are where I decide I want to put the bits of life pocket. When I tried to remove that vellum piece, it left residue from the tape and also started to peel up the photo, and I didn't like that. So I kept it behind the die cut. Then I'm going to kind of do my formula that I've been doing on each of the end of the day photos that just says the day again and then moments. So it's going to say Wednesday moments. And moving on to the timeline, I just want to say I do have this portion sped up to 7 times the speed, because it's just me adhering little photos and then doing the stamping. So that can take quite a while if it's in my regular 4 times the speed of real time. So just a little side note there. I just put the washi at the top, and then all the photos that I want to add that I didn't put anywhere else get added in, and I'm going to stamp with the alphas that were released with this collection, and they're really tiny, so they're fun accessory to use in this formula. where I've got the stamping, and then I've got my paint pen, and then I do my journaling with my Muji gel pen. And a lot of it is redundant on this page, but I wanted to kind of treat it like I do my daily journaling in my Hobonichi. So I've got little photos there of me getting ready, and then my husband, who I went to take a picture, and he was like, "Ooh, strike a pose," and it's hilarious. So, and he only ever acts like this at home, so it was the perfect photo to include. So I stamped awake, and then I wrote 5:30 a.m. with my Posca pen, and then I stamped work, and I wrote that I was not very enthused about getting ready for work because it was a rough night with Nora waking me. I said I chose a positive attitude anyway, and it was a good day. Micah always gives me the best snuggles, and a lot of the other kids treat me like a human jungle gym. Poor Romeo had a bad diaper rash. We had a very unwelcome visit from a former TA, and I was instantly annoyed, but she left quickly. Since Romeo's birthday is Sunday, we are celebrating tomorrow. Nora and I got Starbucks first, and then I stamped treat, and then I wrote Five Below in Walmart and telehealth with my paint pen, and I wrote pick up Thomas toys for Romeo. That's what we went to the store for, and because I was so distracted trying to find these toys for him, we almost forgot about her telehealth appointment. So we ended up calling and connecting with Nora's therapist in the car on the way home. And then I stamped edit next to the picture of me with Toothless in my craft room because he likes to climb up on my lap while I am doing work. And I wrote, after my stupid bar workout, I went in my craft room to catch up in my daily journal, edit content filmed yesterday, and finish listening to my audiobook. We ate and hung out for a bit. Nora was still not feeling great, so she and I both did the nebulizer. Toothless was doing the most at bedtime. Shocker. So I stamped Neb, and I stamped Relax, and then I wrote Andor with the paint pen, and I said Matt and I watched our show. And then I wrote, we put out the garbage and recycling, and I was ready for sleep. I hope I don't cough a lot. And then I just stamped bed, and with my paint pen, I wrote at 10:50. The last thing I do is add my little half tabby there where I use that larger abbreviated days of the week stamp to stamp Wednesday on the little paper insert, and then use the tab to notate that this is a new day of the week. And you can see I did that pretty easily just using some washi tape to mask off where I didn't want the ink. Inked it up, peeled off the washi tape, stamped it down, and only the image that was not masked is what gets stamped on the paper. So that worked out really nicely. And then I just went back and decided to add a couple other embellishments that didn't get used. I really wanted to try to use my stash, so I layered in that little vellum word there that says cool, and then a little chipboard heart. And then I have another couple pieces of chipboard, I think. At least, yeah, I think one or two. This little tag says Everyday Moments. I really wanted to make it work, but I ended up not using it. I did, however, manage to use the little heart there, and it's an oval shape. I wanted it to be circular, so I peeled off as many layers of the chipboard as I could, and then I used a really old Creative Memories punch to punch a little circle because I'm going with a circle theme here on these pages, right? So I punched out a circle from that oval shape and just used that to put underneath the sticker that says watching of Matt there on the couch. Alrighty, so let's do a walkthrough of Wednesday. This is now it's slowed down to real-time speed so you can see everything. And as always, let me know if you have questions. I'm super excited that you were able to join me for this video, and I hope you'll come back to see how I put Thursday together. Let me know, again, if you have questions about anything I shared or did. As usual, I really, really appreciate your time and just how supportive you have been, as this is my first time doing this project. And at the end, I will be sure to do a full review of my thoughts on being a newbie to Week in the Life. All right, friends, on that note, please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you are not. Hit that bell so you don't miss my content. And I will see you in the next one. Take care, friends. Remember that you are enough. Bye.